schematic, and drawing realism. It's important to remember that these stages are given at an approximate age, and due to cultural, familial, and other factors, children may reach these stages before or after the ages assigned to them. From approximately 15 months to the early preschool years, children are typically in the scribbling stage, where large, zigzagging lines and nondescript shapes eventually turn into more recognizable shapes. The child also begins to name these shapes and tell stories about them. Somewhere between the ages of 3 and 4, children enter the pre-schematic stage where they begin to create representations of what is important to them. Drawing faces is common, and arms and legs often protrude right out of the heads. Eventually, people, houses, trees, and the sun are drawn without regard for proportion, and objects often float in space. Another aspect to this phase is known as repetitive practice. Once a child learns to draw, say, a face, for example, he often fills page after page with the same representation. By the time they reach elementary school, children enter the schematic stage where people and objects are attached to the ground and over time come into closer proportion with the real world. Oftentimes, a strip of blue sky is drawn across the top of the page. Usually, between the ages of 9 and 11, children will transition into the drawing realism stage where details like lips, hairstyles, and clothing appear in character drawings, and perspective and depth perception make scenes appear closer to real-world proportion. As their fine motor skills are refined, paired with their cognitive development, children progress through the same stages of artistic development, taking them from chaotic tangles of lines to orderly and detailed figures. By the end of preschool, most children can hold a pencil using the thumb and fingers, write some letters, draw pictures, cut with scissors, string beads, dress themselves independently using clothes with large buttons and zippers, and feed themselves with a fork and a spoon. It is important to remember that each child grows and develops within an individual time frame. These skills allow preschoolers to do self-help tasks. Suddenly, they can dress and feed themselves with little